What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and the Overwatch 2 Roadhog rework is finally here, almost. It'll be coming out tomorrow, but we do finally have details on what exactly this rework entails. So let's jump in and take a look, starting off first with the official post made by Blizzard showing the new set of Roadhog abilities. Most of these look fairly familiar, save for the brand new ability, Pigpen. Now, in this very simplistic overview of the rework, all it says is that it launches a trap that slows and damages nearby enemies, but we do have more information about it as shared in one of the official dev live streams that was airing at the time of them announcing this. So, jumping over to this image here, showing off some of the patch notes specifically, we can actually see that there was more changed about Roadhog's kit than simply the addition of the Pigpen ability. Both the Scrap Gun and Take a Breather have undergone significant changes, so let's just go ahead and read through what has actually been changed about them. First up, for the Scrap Gun, previous secondary fire functionality has been removed. So for those of you who are already familiar with Roadhog, you know he had the primary fire and the alternate fire, with the primary fire being basically a point blank shot and the alternate fire being a bit more ranged, and that it shot out the sort of chunk of scrap that exploded and then flashed out. Now he only has a singular primary fire. However, it has undergone significant changes. Total damage per shot increased from 150 to 160, shotgun pellet count reduced from 25 to 16, shotgun pellet damage increased from 6 to 6.25, and it now fires a shrapnel volley of 4 large projectiles in the center of the shot. Each of these projectiles deals 15 damage, and the crit damage multiplier has been reduced from 2 times to 1.5. So in essence, what this has done is actually merged Roadhog's old primary and secondary fire into a singular shot ability. You get the widespread of his original point blank primary fire with the additional larger shrapnel pellets in the center that sort of function as how the alternate fire originally did, in that it gives you a bit more potential with range, but overall is just simplified into a singular shot ability. Now, I personally have not actually gotten to play this rework yet, so I can't say for myself how it feels to use the new primary fire as opposed to the old primary and alternate, but I do, in theory, kind of like what they're going for here, the idea of just simplifying the two aspects of the primary weapon into just a singular shot. But of course, we'll have to see in practice once the Roadhog rework actually comes out how good this ends up feeling. Moving on to Take a Breather is now activated by holding secondary fire, which again was originally the alternate fire but now is bound to Take a Breather. Cooldown for each use decreased from 8 seconds to 1 second and is now on a resource meter. A resource meter has been added. This meter will deplete Take a Breather while it is active and then recharge when it's not in use. So think D.Va's defense matrix basically. Take a Breather requires 12 seconds to reach full charge from empty. At full charge, Take a Breather can heal up to 450 health over 3 seconds. Take a Breather will now remain active as long as its assigned hotkey is held, and they've also added the option to toggle Take a Breather under the control options so that you can just, press one button to trigger it, press it again to stop, or press and hold, which is going to be the default for it. Additionally, damage reduction given to Roadhog from using Take a Breather has been decreased from 50% to 30%, and it also no longer amplifies healing received upon ending. So yeah, this is a very similar change to what happened to D.Va way back in the early days of Overwatch. Originally, her defense matrix was on a straight up use it, then it goes on cooldown, then they switched it to the resource meter. Take a Breather is undergoing the exact same thing. And overall, I do feel like this is going to be a pretty substantial buff actually for Roadhog. If you think of all the different scenarios where Roadhog goes to use his Take a Breather to heal himself or gain that damage reduction, only to then get stunned and basically knocked out of being able to use the entire ability, well, now he just has to wait a second or wait to stop being stunned, and then he can just sort of continue using it because it's on a meter with a 1 second cooldown for use, as opposed to having an entire full-length cooldown every time he activates it whatsoever. There have also been some tweaks to the healing numbers, and of course it doesn't reduce damage as much, but overall I do think this is going to probably be a buff for his healing ability and thus his self self-sustain and sort of damage absorption. But finally, getting on to the last ability here, the brand new ability, Pigpen. This is a new ability assigned to ability 2 by default. It launches a trap that slows and damages nearby enemies, deals 60 damage when triggered and 30 damage per second in an area, has a 3-second duration once it's activated, and also applies a 40% movement speed slow and has a cooldown of 12 seconds. Now, this is rather interesting because at a glance, this kind of just sounds like Ramatra's Ravenous Vortex. It's a sort of AoE trap field type thing that damages and applies a slow to those within it, which is also what Sojourn's Disruptor Shot basically was back in the day before they removed the slowing effect of it. Yeah, I'm not inclined to say this is the most unique or original sounding ability, but it's interesting. I am rather curious to see how this actually ends up applying to Roadhog's playstyle. In the dev stream, they were talking about how it's intended to make it sort of easier to hook targets from the Pigpen. Since targets in there are slowed and will already be taking a bit of damage, it's sort of an initial setup for Roadhog to then hook them, pull them in, and then pull off what used to be the one-shot combo with his hook and scrap gun. Now it seems like you're probably going to have to rely a bit more on just, other sources of damage leading up to actually hooking someone, which is kind of what the goal was pre-rework, but that really didn't work out for Hog. So I don't know. This is one where I really just sort of want to play it for myself and see how it feels. I'm neither optimistic nor pessimistic about this one. They don't specify here in the notes whether or not the trap itself can actually be destroyed. I do believe it can, given how they refer to it being a trap in the same avenue as something like Junkrat's Steel Trap. So I'm certainly curious to see how prominent of like a item this is going to be. Is this something that is supposed to be a sort of trap in the sense that people walk into it without realizing it's there? Is it more telegraphed as like a zoning tool where people can walk into it, but you use that to your own benefit to try to corral the enemy into certain areas or prevent them from going somewhere? But then if they can just destroy it, you have to take that into account too. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting questions I have regarding this ability, and needless to say, I am very excited to get into Overwatch and actually play this new rework now that we have the abilities for Roadhog here. I will, of course, be live streaming the Overwatch 2 rework once it goes live on Tuesday, tomorrow, so be sure to tune into that. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts on the notes and new details we got for Roadhog's new rework by dropping a comment down below. Do you think this is a good direction for the devs to have taken Roadhog? Or maybe you don't like these changes, maybe you preferred the original or had something else in mind in terms of what would make him better. Either way, thank you for watching this video, and as always, be sure to subscribe, hit up that bell icon, come follow me on X, and join my Discord server to hang out and never miss any of my future Overwatch 2 news, streams, and other content. Special thanks to my YouTube channel members who help make these videos possible, and if you'd like to join them to earn some cool rewards, then just hit that join button down below. Otherwise, this is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, have a great day.